First, I'd like to say welcome to the fall semester of Biology 101, and I'm Jen Durkitz. So every now and then you might see me make a video or two, and you'll see a picture of me in the corner, and then you'll be able to see my screen. So it's actually a really nice um, feature. So I know it's a little early, but I thought I would go ahead and make a video on how to proceed with some of the labs. They're a little bit different this semester, but the name of the labs that you'll be using is called eSciences. And see if I can get it to it here. You will see that Professor Neal has given you some information right here, the Bio 101 Lab Kit from esciencelabs.com. You will need to create an account and enter this code. You can purchase the lab kit from eSciences. You will have to purchase it from the bookstore if you need to utilize financial aid, but you are still needing to actually order the kit via the website. So make sure that you get this lab kit ordered as soon as possible. Okay, you don't want to not be able to get a grade because you don't have the proper lab kit. Okay. So what I have done here is right now the course is unavailable because it's obviously a little bit early in the semester, or we haven't even started yet. But this is what it looks like when you come into the course. So it says Fall 18, Bio 101, DL 61, and this is the announcement. So this is where it will come to, and you can see that when we put anything up, it'll be on this front page right here. And also, Professor Neal has mentioned if this is your first online class, you'll be completing this CDL course. It's just to get you familiar with an online format. So if you've taken an online class before, then you might know a little bit about it. If you haven't taken one in a while, it's always good to do a refresher. And so anyways, I'll also put information there. Both of us will put information there. All right, so without further ado, let's go into the weekly assignments. So the weekly assignments will contain your labs and other assignments that you will be doing as per these due dates. So you're going to want to make sure, this is also in the syllabus, you're going to want to make sure that you know these due dates because you need to keep up with the information. You know, we're not going to be on here every week. Hey, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? So it's a little bit different than a face-to-face where you would see us every week. So for example, the week one material, the discussion board and the lab are due by the 27th of August. And if there is something that's due outside of these dates, then we will be explicit with it. It'll either tell you in the assignment or we'll have an announcement or etc. We'll let you know. Okay, so going into the weekly assignments here, it's another picture of the schedule. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to go into week one because I want to go through the lab and kind of show you what it looks like so that there's no confusion on anything. Okay, so you're going to click on the folder and it will come up. There will be lots of things in here. So for week one, you're going to want to read the syllabus. You won't be given credit for any assignments until this is completed. So make sure you go through here, and every week you're going to make sure that you scroll down and see what's due. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here to lab week one. So for lab, the actual week one lab, you don't need your lab kit for it. You will need it for starting in week two. So you're going to click on it. Okay, and you're going to see the laboratory safety agreement that you're going to need to sign this, and you're going to need to initial each page. Don't leave any pages out, okay? And then you're going to need to put a signed copy of the lab safety agreement. Whenever there's a submission, all you need to do in order to submit, so to open something, you just click on it, it'll open. okay, like that. You can see it and click anywhere where you can click. And then when you're going to submit something, you're going to click on the, there it goes, and it will open up like this. And then you can submit, you'll browse your computer and you will attach your file and then say submit. Okay? So I'm going to cancel out of that because I'm not submitting anything. All right. So here you see lab 1 right here. And sometimes you may have to click on the actual folder itself, and I'll show you another week as well. They may not look exactly the same from week to week, so make sure that you read everything, and if there's something to click on, like a folder, that you click on it. So this is lab 1. Okay. So in here we have the actual lab itself. They usually look like this. It's going to look like a link. Okay. And you're going to see usually there's going to be some sort of submission. There might be a pre-lab submission, a lab question submission, and a post-lab submission. So there might be anywhere from 1 to 3 of these. Okay. And also you're going to see a button or a submission for submitting your pictures. Okay. So every experiment that you do, you're going to need to take pictures of it, and you're going to need to compile them into a Word document. You're going to make sure that you label every picture, okay? And I've given you an example. You can look at this as an example. So some of your labs are going to contain maybe a couple of different pictures, and some of them might contain a lot. I tell students to err on the side of too much information is better than not enough information. Okay, so if you just give us a couple of pictures, that's not going to be good enough. You need to explain what you're doing, because remember, we're not in front of you, so you have to pretend that basically myself, Professor Durkitz, or Professor Neal is sitting in front of you, and you're telling us, you're showing us with pictures and telling us what it is that you've done. Okay. So I'm going to click on this. You're going to click on the actual icon that says Lab 1, Lab 2, whatever it is, whichever lab that you're doing. And it takes a little minute. It's thinking. Okay, so this is what it looks like now when it comes up. And you're going to go through each one of these. You can click on here to go through. You can do what it says. It's going to give you information. In this case, it's about science, observation, hypotheses. It's going to give you definitions, whatever's needed in the introduction for that particular lab. So again, not all of these are going to look the same, but you're going to go through them. If it wants you to answer a question, answer the question, et cetera, et cetera. So it keeps going. You can also click on these on the left, or you can go here like a little PowerPoint. It's got sound. Just keep going through. There's knowledge checks in here, which are nice. This is new. It's going to give you each section. These knowledge checks are kind of like little quizzes, but they're not graded. It's just for you. And when you get to the end, it says something about, for example, assignment procedures lab drill. Okay, I'm going to click on that. It's going to come up. It's going to give you an introduction. I'm going to say next. It's giving you a lab drill. It's asking you questions. Okay. So you're going to go through and you're going to keep doing it. Lab drill 1 of 7. And then at the end, you'll see assignments and procedures. Okay. And these are going to be what you actually do. So in this case, and then you're also going to see a lab workbook. So this is a little bit different. If you've never had a class with e-sciences, which you probably haven't because this is 101, it definitely looks a little bit different. So right here, this lab workbook, you're going to see the exercises here. So if I click on it here, and say exercise 1, it's going to come up and it's going to tell me exactly what to do. It gives me any kind of data that I need to look at. This is on data interpretation, and it's going to have some questions. Okay. Now, if I go back to that same page where I just was, see if it'll take me back here. I can also and go through the exercise 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And then number 6, you're not turning that in to me and you're not doing the design of an experiment. Okay. And what I've asked you to do for this particular lab is to go on here. It'll ask you to open the file. It should come up as a Word document. There it is. You can make it bigger here. Okay. And so you can see that, and you can enable editing. And so this is just a Word document. Okay, so for this one, okay, I don't know what else it's opening. Oh, computers. All right, well, we don't need it. Okay, so exercise 1, the data interpretation. It's going to give you the same data that you just saw, okay, but it's going to be a Word document. And then here's some questions that it has, okay, that it wants you to answer, and it's going to do that. So each of those exercises that you saw, here they are again. So there's exercise 2, questions, exercise 3, questions. And you can go in here when you save it, you can move question 1 down. I mean, it's a Word document, so you can move things. And then you want to put for your answers, so you want to type it in, and if it asks you accurate, precise, neither or both, you want to somehow indicate that what your answer is so that I can tell. And keep going, and then go ahead and save. You don't have to do 6, and you don't have to do exercise 1, design an experiment. Okay, so save the parts. You can delete these 2 pages right here, and then just save the other one. So you'll save it to your computer. I'm going to go back out. So let's say I've saved it to my computer, and I'm going to go back to I'm going to go back to Blackboard where I was. Okay, so here we are. And then I've said right here, submit your responses. So you're going to save that as a Word document. Submit your responses from Lab 1, exercises 1 through 5, so we don't need the percentage error, as a Word document. And you don't need to do the planning of the bean piece either. Okay, so just save it as a Word. Go into here. It's going to tell you the number of points that the assignment is for. And you're just going to submit, say browse my computer, and then add that Word document in. Okay. Now, for the pictures, you may be asking yourself, well, that seems kind of silly for this lab. There's not really any pictures. But I want you to get into the habit of taking pictures. So just take pictures of your screen. You can take your phone and get in the habit, take your smartphone and get in the habit of taking pictures and putting them into a document, into a Word document, and saving them as a PDF file. Okay. If you do it with this one, and you can write down, underneath of the picture, exercise 1, exercise 2, and I'll go ahead and open this JPEG out and show you a little bit about what it will look like. So here you can see like a setup. So safety materials are laying out. Now for this one, there won't be any safety materials. Your equipment, you might take a picture of your computer for this one. And then you can take a picture of the different exercises, your screenshot or something, and you're going to tell me what they are. Okay, so for this one, it does seem a little bit silly to be doing it, but I want you to get in the habit of actually going through the process. All right. And that's it. So that's it for lab 1. Okay. So I'm going to go back out. So you don't need like I said, you don't need your lab kit for this one. I'm going to go back out for a second, and let's pretend for a minute that we're in week 2. Okay, so week 2 is due a week from then. And I'm going to go scroll down into week 2. And again, I'm under weekly assignments. 2 labs. Click on it. Your quizzes. So there's an example of a quiz. Scroll down. Do a lot of scrolling in this class. And I'm going to click on Lab 2 folder. Okay. So like I was saying before, this one looks a little bit different. So you have the lab itself. You have a pre-lab, which are going to be questions. Lab 2 questions and post-lab questions, and Lab 2 pictures. So for this one, when you see this, it's going to already have, you can tell by the icon what the assignment is. Okay, so there's the link, so that shows you that that's the lab itself. And then this one, if you click on this is going to be an actual, some of them are going to be, we've actually filled them out. And so it looks like this, and you say begin. So when it looks like that and you say begin, it's going to actually give you the questions. And so now these questions that it's giving you are the same questions that are in the lab. I'm just giving them to you in a little bit of a different format. So whereas before in lab 1, you were saving them as a Word document and then attaching them, here you're actually going in and answering the questions. So for example, what should you always wear to protect your eyes when you're in a laboratory? So you're going to write down safety glasses here and then save your answer. You can also wait until you're done and save all the answers, but make sure that when you're completely done, and also save your answers regularly, that when you're done that you say save and submit. Okay, make sure that you say save and submit. All right, so I'm going to go out of there. We'll just pretend I've saved it. Okay, lab 2 questions and post lab questions. It's going to be another one. It's going to open just like it. Okay, begin. And so these are going to be the same tables that you see in the lab itself. So the data is not any different. I'm not asking you different questions that are in the labs. I'm just giving it to you in a little bit of a different format. So obviously you cannot click on this. This is kind of like the question itself, and this is also in the lab. So if I were you, what I would do with these labs is go ahead in and you can print out the lab questions as you need to and write down your, print them out and then write down your observations. And then you can copy and print this and put it into the answer spot. So for example, let's see if this works. Well, that's not gonna work. So in lab 2, let's see if I have lab 2 open down here. All right, let me show you so that just so you'll be familiar with it. All right, I'm going to go out of here. Yes. And I'm going to open up lab 2. So I'm going to open it as if I'm doing it. And it's going to look a lot like lab 1, except this one you're going to need your lab kit for. Okay. And I will have gone through everything and, gone through all of this and done the, assignment and procedures is right here. Okay. So exercise 1, what is it? Experiment 1, right here. I'm going to click on the icon. I'm going to open it. We will give it a minute. And there it is at the bottom. I don't know why it keeps popping that one up. All right. So here we are. So these are the same exact questions that I just showed you, like what should you wear to protect your eyes. So if you open the lab and you go through and you answer these and you print it out or you save it, you'll have everything that you need to do the labs, no matter whether I've asked you to submit the Word document or I've asked you questions um, in an assignment. I mean, there's more than one way that Blackboard can ask. All right. And some of them, but I'm not asking you. Okay, so here's those exact same tables that I just showed you, but here you'll actually be able to write. So you say enable editing. You know, it's just a typical Word document. Down. Okay, so here's those tables. All I've done is copy them out and put them into there. Okay, so you're going to write your answers in here. Let's say, water, whatever, pink, whatever. Okay. And let's say that I want, I've asked you to give me the information in this table. You can actually come in here and you can copy. So I'm going to say Control C. I'm going to go back to where, for you, this will be a little bit easier because you will actually be doing it. Okay. I'm going to go back to that lab 2 questions where we were before. And you'll be able to go into these and save. It can be resumed later. You can go in and put things down and resume it later. Okay, so there's that same question. That's exactly the same thing that we were just looking at. Thinking about something. There it goes. All right. Well, keep scrolling too far. Okay, so here's the answer space. So I'm going to put my cursor there. And I just pasted it into that box. So there's the exact same tables from the document, and you can see where I put it in. Okay, and then just like you did on the last assignment, you're going to scroll up, or you can just say save all answers. My mouse is, there it is. You can just say save all answers. And then when you're done answering everything, you'll save and submit it. But you don't want to save and submit it until you're ready to turn it in. So if let's say that you do question 1 and you get up and go to dinner or something, and then you come back and you do question 2, make sure you say save all answers, but do not say save and submit, because once you hit save and submit, it thinks it's ready for it to be graded. Okay, so this is almost like if you say save and submit and you were in a face-to-face class, this would be like you got up and went and handed it to the professor. You can't go back and say, oh, wait, I need that back without contacting us. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, I'm going to go out of there. Okay, and then the lab 2 pictures, and you can see that when you see this icon, that means that it's going to be like an assignment for you to do. And then the pictures, when it looks like this, that means that you're going to actually submit it. So this is pictures. So you will have made your Word document, you will have put your pictures, you'll have taken pictures of what you did, and it will come up and it'll tell you the points, and it'll tell you, you'll see, there we go. And you'll say browse my computer and you'll attach it, and if you need to say something, you can put it in the comments. And then for this one, you'll say, again, if you have a draft, if you're not quite done yet, you can say save draft. But make sure when you're ready to turn it in that you say submit. Okay. Again, we're not completely ready yet for class. There might be some more instructions on there, but wanted to give you an idea of how things were going to look and how you needed to submit them so that there's no question throughout the semester. So for the most part, most labs will probably look more like week 2. because they'll have separate questions, and you'll be doing more and more as the labs, they get a little more complex as they go, but not by much. So make sure when you're looking at you get your eSciences kit, make sure that you take a look through everything, but don't take anything out necessarily. Like, you don't want to lose the labels or anything like that, because each of the assignments will tell you in the lab. So that link, like whatever lab it is, will tell you what you need for that lab. Okay. All right. And I think that's about all. So we'll start there, and I'll be posting this, and I will, I guess, talk to you later. And hopefully everyone has a great start to the fall 18 semester. Thank you.